Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vicki Chats podcast. In the studio with me today, three incredibly special women. We are talking to Tina Engstrom, Ashley, Jenn, and Teri Trask. These three beautiful women whose lives have been deeply connected through one remarkable young man whose impact continues to inspire an entire community. First, we're welcoming Teri Trask, or Mrs. T, as so many know and love her. Teri is a Cedar Valley educator, executive coach, speaker, consultant, and self-described enthusiologist extraordinaire, and I love that. Throughout her career, Teri has helped people discover their strengths and lead with purpose. As principal of Orange Elementary School, she witnessed firsthand how one student's kindness and resilience could transform an entire school culture. We're also honored to welcome Jax's mother, Tina Engstrom, advocate and the growing force behind Acts of Jax. Through Tina's vision and determination, Acts of Jax was created to ensure that her son, Jackson's spirit of kindness, compassion, and encouragement continues touching lives for generations to come. And joining us today also is Ashley Jenn, Jackson's cousin, educator, and one of the people whose lives was forever changed by him. More than a decade ago, Ashley began tutoring Jackson in Braille after he started losing his vision. That experience inspired her to change her career path and dedicate her career to teaching blind and visually impaired students. She also helped launch what became a worldwide kindness movement when a classroom project, the Grinch Kindness Hearts, grew into thousands of hearts arriving from around the globe. Together, these three incredible women represent the family, educational, and community sides of an incredible story. They're here to discuss the launch of Acts of Jax, the inaugural Acts of Jax golf outing and legacy launch, and the enduring lessons Jackson has taught all of us about courage, kindness, resilience, and the power of making someone's day. Get ready for an inspiring conversation about community, compassion, and the extraordinary ripple effect one life can have across the world. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes, it's such an honor and a pleasure to have you here today. So, for listeners meeting you for the very first time, tell us a little bit about yourselves and how your lives became connected through Jackson.
I am Jax's mom, and Ashley is his cousin, my niece. So we've always been connected before Jackson.
Yes.
And we've been through a lot of phases and stages with Jackson. And so Ashley's been there from the beginning when he was a baby. And then through preschool, he went on to Orange. And that was where we were working with vision loss.
Oh, yes.
So I'll hand it off.
And that's where I came in as Orange Elementary. So I am Mrs. T. It was then the principal at Orange Elementary. And I had a little charming, humorous, spunky kid come to me and they said he's visually impaired. And we went from visually impaired to more visually impaired to a seizure to a Batten's diagnosis. And comes Ashley with being not only his cousin, but his para. And she flipped the script and the paradigm on how we viewed education for Jax.
Well, I feel like everyone talked about me, not themselves, but yes, I am Ashley. And yes, a little bit about me is that I am a teacher of the visually impaired, and I have been by Jax's side the whole ride through cousin, para, inappropriate humor guide, sidekick, babysitter, whatever it may be. We've been through it all together.
That's adorable.
And it's been a privilege to do it as a team. Just
my
a privilege.
Gosh, I love it. So before we discuss Acts of Jax, what are some things people should know about Jackson beyond his diagnosis?
Maybe talk about he has a lot of personality.
Yes.
And he would be very independent and stubborn about it, through all of it. And yes, we have talked about his, inappropriate, things that he would laugh at or do, but that's a whole other story that we can't talk about on the podcast.
But he does have a lot of humor, and we've said he's made people smile for a very long time. I mean, what a joy bringer. we call him our little lover, but he's just so lovable. And when I think of students that have been a source of inspiration, he is like at the top of the list. He's stubborn, but he's also stubborn about making sure that that this is funny and that this is supposed to be a happy time. So great kid.
I love that.
And he's curious to the core. So curious.
Yes. So if each of you had to describe Jax in just 3 words each, what would they be?
Magnetic,
Ooh.
resilient, and transformational.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I would say intuitive, intelligent, and humorous.
Aww.
I would echo some of their words
Yes.
and the things that I would add. I've already said inspirational, but he is, I look at him, I think he's one of those angels on earth that, God put him here to show us, the rest of us, how to be grateful. And we know gratitude is the foundation of hope, and hope is the foundation of resilience. And he is just a chain maker for that.
Oh, it's beautiful. So in the early years, Tina, when did you first realize something was changing with Jax's vision?
When he was in preschool, he wouldn't be able to do the projects like the other students. So using scissors, he couldn't. So we're getting signals that maybe something was up. We would show him photographs and ask him to find himself, and he couldn't find himself in the picture. And then which led to a misdiagnosis of retinitis pigmentosa. So that's what we focused on. And at that time, because we thought it was just vision loss, we spent a lot of time on Braille and cane mobility.
Okay. Yes. And Ashley, what do you remember about being asked to tutor Jackson Braille all those years ago?
So this was before the Batten's diagnosis, and I was in college, and Tina has always found a way to be like, all right, how are we going to team up, and how are we going to, make this, hand that we were dealt into something, better. And, she's like, Braille's kind of boring, and Jax is not interested in it. And how are we going to make this little preschool boy excited about learning? And so we did all sorts of crazy activities to introduce him to Braille. And he's very, like I said, he's very intelligent, and he picked up on it very quickly. So much so that I would say he was probably ahead in reading standards.
Wow.
Compared to sighted peers. So he was reading and writing sentences and by kindergarten. So,
oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. So how did that experience end up changing the entire direction of your career?
So I was originally going to be a speech pathologist. And then I was like, well, I was learning this Braille, which I did not know anything about Braille until that. And I'm like, but this little preschooler is figuring out, I think I can, maybe learn it a little bit too. And I just kind of saw this gap, I guess, this low incident area, that a lot of people didn't know about. And then a lot of teachers didn't know about or know how to handle it, or principals or whatever. Cause sometimes, in an educational career, you might not ever come across a kid who has a visual impairment.
Right.
So it was kind of like, okay, like I feel like I can go in and I can advocate for kids and families that have a visual impairment, because I know what my family's gone through. And I know that, if a teacher of the visually impaired is coming into the picture, there's probably been some pretty severe diagnosis that the family is going through. And I feel like I can help those families and guide their educational path.
Profound. And so, Teri, what do you remember about meeting Jax when he first arrived at Orange Elementary?
Oh my! Like I said, spunky, curious. He just had a light. I mean, I keep saying he would stop me in the hallway, and I think Ashley was there when he did this, and he said, "Hey." said, "You got Jesus in your heart?" And I'm like, and you could tell it's like where he's, he might be visually impaired, but he's also looking right through you at the same time.
Oh,
and
wow.
he doesn't just take a surface answer. I mean, he wants to know. And then a couple days later, he showed up with this key, and the key was, he said, "Hey, I want to make sure that Jesus can get in." So he said, "This key is for Jesus to get in." And so he put it in a special place in my drawer so that at night, then Jesus could come and get in. And he was explaining to me, and I thought, you know what? We live it forward, we understand it backward, right? And he is like laying the groundwork for the whole Grinch and the hearts and all of that, because man, did he get in?
Oh,
he got in.
He got in.
So tagging on Tina's transformational, it was incredible, just incredible.
Oh my gosh, Tina, for those unfamiliar with Batten disease, how can you please explain what it is and how it has affected your family?
Batten disease is very rare. It's 2 out of 4 out of 100,000. Both parents have to have the gene, and a lot of times, if one kid has it, they're likely to have other children in the family that have it. So there's other families that have 2 or 3 children with this disease. It's a neurodegenerative disease, so it causes waste to build up in the brain. There's infantile form and juvenile. Jackson has juvenile. Every case is different of what they lose first. In Jackson's case, he lost vision first. Then he had a seizure, which led to his diagnosis of Batten disease. And then it takes away your cognitive mobility, your ability to walk, swallow, and in the end, it's terminal. And obviously, it's affected, all of our family. He has 2 older brothers who have to, live through all the phases and the stages of Jackson. It's not a, I need you to take care of Jackson. It was you get to take care of Jackson.
Yes.
This is a privilege.
Yes.
I always say that Brett and I are the divorced married couple, because you never see us together unless Jax is with us. So it's only, the kids get one parent, which parent gets to go. And so we're always separated when we leave the house.
So was there something really special about him that everyone seemed to notice right away?
I think there's just no stopping this kid. He just
he made himself known in any room that he walked into, because he couldn't see you, but you could sure see him, and he was gonna make it known. And he didn't care. He didn't care what looks people gave him or anything like that.
Wow.
You were either going to accept him or you weren't. And he was like, "Well, I don't care either way. So I'm here."
I would say the no fear thing. I mean, talk about, I have it on my bracelet, right? Walk by faith, but he truly does. And he insists that you do too. The first time he came out to ride horses with me, he was on the front and he said, "Miss T, close your eyes." I'm like, I'm on a horse. Like, okay. And he said, "It's like we're flying." And he didn't want you to just close your eyes. He wanted like hands off the reins. He's like full on. So, and I just remember thinking, you know what, that's a, kids, there's an in awe and there's this sense of trust, but with him, it was just a given. It was just a given. And
oh my gosh.
I will carry that with me forever.
So through all these challenges, what allowed Jax to remain so joyful and so positive?
I'm not, he's been through phases, with Battens where he goes through sadness and anger. But the goal is always, how do you make him smile?
Yeah.
How do you make him happy?
Right.
And that is always our goal every day.
Yes.
And, and so many people around him reflect that happiness.
Yes.
And so he comes out of it. And I think for the majority of the time, he was a happy kid.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I would say though too, and you said that about the joy about the people around him.
Yeah.
Jax brings that out in people.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when I say his reflection, the thing that Tina and Ashley really need to give themselves a lot of credit for is they really have created an environment where he's able to project that and do those random acts of kindness. So I always say, with the acts of Jax, like if he could, he would.
Yes.
And because he expects that because we can, we will. We do.
Yes.
So as they are delivering flowers, they are taking him out and saying, hey, we want to say thank you.
Yes.
And then the joy that brings back in return, it is a pick me up. So, when they say when you're down, like go out and do something for somebody else,
Yes.
that's Jax.
Oh my gosh.
That's him.
So Ashley, tell us about how a classroom project involving the Grinch became something much bigger.
So this was when he was in first grade. It was a couple months after his Batten disease diagnosis. And his educational goals kind of shift because it wasn't about like him staying in the classroom or him, making sure that he was hitting all his reading standards and math standards. It was more like, how do we keep this kid engaged and make it purposeful and meaningful for him? And at the time, he really liked the Grinch. Shocking because he likes any character that was a little bit, that was up to mischievous. Yeah, that was his favorite. So he really liked the Grinch, and I, make everything very tactual for him so that he's engaged. So we made a tactual Grinch, and then I was like, you know what, we're going to do kind things, and then we're going to write about him, and then we're going to put the hearts on the wall so you can feel them, and we're going to feel the Grinch's heart grow. And he has always loved the number 100, and he said he wanted to do 100 of them. I was like, all right, well, that'll keep us busy for a while. Let's do it. And then some other teachers at Orange kind of rallied behind it and was like, we'll have our class do it. And so then the class started doing it, and then the next thing you know, we have a few hundred hearts, and then the story kind of got picked up on the news, and he became someone you should know. And a lot of people really resonated with this story, and next thing you know, we're getting like literally thousands of hearts sent from all over the world to Jax. And we made it a point to literally put every single one of those hearts up. So I spent a lot of hours putting hearts up on the walls, but we made mountains because he was moving mountains, and we made big hearts out of the hearts. And he could go around and feel every single one, and he would feel them and ask what they said and where they came from.
Sweet.
And it basically lasted the entire school year. So
wow.
It kept him, did its job. It kept him engaged and entertained for a long time. And I think it also kind of helped Tina and Brett move out of the initial shock of the Batten's diagnosis, and kind of help launch a little bit more about Jackson's journey, and kind of focus on, all right, this kid's doing it. He's doing kindness. He's happy. And like, that's how we're going to run and support him. Mm-hmm. And if he can do it, we can all do it.
Right. So tell me, what was Jax's reaction when hearts started arriving from all over the country and eventually around the world?
He was excited to get to the mail every day. Ooh. And he would feel the hearts, and any of the hearts that had like a little bit different texture or any braille on them, he would be like, and what's this one say? And what's this one say? And this one has a square on it. And this one, he was so good tactually that he could pick up on all these different things, and he would want to know what every single one of them said, and wanted to know what was on it and where it came from. And you could tell just like if he was having a bad day, he could go feel his hearts. And so he would walk and just feel the hearts. And I don't know. I think it gave him a purpose, and he loved it. I don't know about better to describe it.
He'd come down and remember about the number. Guess how many?
Yes.
Guess how many?
Yeah.
Hundreds. I love it. So Teri, what was it like watching that kindness movement spread throughout Orange Elementary?
Magical.
Oh,
magical is the first word I think of.
Yes.
Because it's not that you just watched it, you felt it. And I think you felt it when you walked in, and to walk around with him, it was, even people are like, kind of our bah humbuggers, right?
Yeah.
It just caught on. I mean, how do you say no to that? You just can't. It was really, it was just purely magical. And there are a lot of tough days
Yes.
and in every job, but in
Yes.
education too. And here is this little source of light going through. And
Mhm.
so many times, when the Batten's diagnosis came,
Yeah.
I just distinctly remember Tina saying, there's no good news with this. Like, this is the last best day. Every day from here on will be, something's going to give. And it really, I think, was a walking model for all of us to go, today matters, people.
Yes.
Like, we all get to do today, so let's do it well. And
Right.
to see him bring that out in other people, I just thought,
Mhm.
wow, there's again no accidents in the kingdom. I mean, this
Right.
little guy is he's a light bringer, he's a torch bearer, and that's just never going to stop.
Ah, beautiful. Tina, when did the idea first emerge to create something lasting in Jax's honor?
I've been thinking about it for a while, especially, his high school years, that, we need to do something. And
Mhm.
because he was a senior and graduating, now was the time. Now was the time to do something. And thinking about, what it is about Jackson that resonates, that we could go back into the schools to create. And a lot of times people do scholarships, but that didn't seem to fit him, since education was never the goal.
Yeah.
It was quality of life. And so sitting with friends, and Amy Schmidt, that works for the Waterloo School, she's like, I think of random acts of kindness.
Yes.
And that really has, what I was thinking, but she said it out loud. And I think, okay, it's not just me. That's, that's him. It's other people too. That's what they think of for him. And so my other friends at the table, Willis, who's a teacher, Tamara Willis, she said acts of Jax.
There you
And
go.
we're like, oh,
Yes.
okay, that's it. You
Right.
got, oh yeah. So then, we have an idea, and then you call out those people who are the go-getters and say, hey, what do you think about this? How do you feel about this? And they're like, yes. And so, and I'm like, and I just reminded you, I want this to happen, like now, because, before the end of the school year, it's April, but they're go-getters. So,
I said, she means 2026.
like now, we can do it now.
Yeah.
So, and I had to, remind them that, with Jackson, I need this to go on, even if we can't be there. If Brett and I are in Iowa City, which we bounce there a lot, and something happens with Jackson, I need this to go on without him.
Yes.
And so they were, handed the task, and here we are.
Yes.
Dear Trask.
Oh, and really, when we first talked, I remember you saying, hey, with all these seniors, they're having their open houses kind of for what's next. You put in the card, like, next leg of your journey, that it's college, it's a profession they're going into. But you said, what's next for Jax? Like, what's the now what for Jax at this point? And I thought, wow, that makes so much sense. This is the now what. This is the, hey, this part mattered, and you matter, and this is going to continue to matter. And so this open house and legacy launch to me is really his next leg of the journey.
I love it.
I love that.
Yes. And tell me the story about Cedar Rapids Prairie. That's a beautiful story.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that was one of those really wow moments of, learning how to juggle life with, the 10% chance of Jack's living after sepsis and being in the hospital for 3 months, not knowing if he's going to live. Trying to balance, how do you try to keep your other two children's lives functional? Like you want them to, you pull them in when you remind them that yes, spend time with Jackson, but I also need you to live life.
Yes.
Which is ironic because that was, Jack, I think Parker was starting school at, UNI, and there was Teri Trask, his first
The
one
first
up,
two.
first day of school. And I'm like,
Like,
yeah, he's got this.
Oh my, thank you
God.
God.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were coming home from the hospital and Parker was with me, and he went out to the mailbox and found this card from Cedar Rapids Prairie, who they had played a couple weeks before that on senior night. And I still don't know how they knew about it, because it's, we're sitting in a baseball team. So I had posted something on Facebook about senior night for Parker, and internally what a battle that was to get up there and play when your mind is somewhere else.
Of course.
And so they put these gift cards in the mailbox, and it was, one of those just, wow, these people don't know us, and they're from our opponent nonetheless.
Yes.
Not even in our town or city. And I drive by there back and forth every day, Cedar Rapids Prairie.
Yes.
And so, so it's Jack's senior year, and it was after one of our Axe and Jacks meetings, and I'm kind of talking to some of the moms, like, I really would like to do something for Cedar Rapids Prairie. It's a home game. It's Jack's senior year.
Yeah.
And then I didn't say much about it, and then they picked it up and ran with it. Like, hey, we're getting these tickets for them, and we went and talked to the coach, and they didn't have to do it. It's a little strange saying, hey, you want to come out and help me cheer on your opponent that's coming in, and they were like, yeah, let's do it, and they were like, yeah, give me some Axe and Jacks, shirts, and let's go cheer on these kids. And and then the police did an escort in, and the coach gets off, and he's just excited, his face is pure joy, and Jackson was able to be there, and the team's lined up, and I think that's my favorite part. The team is lined up as they come in, shaking hands to their opponent on the way into the game.
Sweet. I love that.
It was really special. And to see those boys that said, I think one of the lines in the part that they read at the beginning was, Jax could have been out here playing with us.
Right.
And
right.
them seeing that get to. And again, gratitude, hope, resilience, and the gracious professionalism that was displayed by that team is incredible.
It's beautiful. And Tina, Jax recently graduated from Waterloo West High School. What emotions came with that milestone?
It was that he lived to see that day.
Yes.
Well, I didn't see it, feel the day.
Yes.
And that he was healthy enough to be there. And I took him because of all the people throughout his school years that made sure he mattered. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for all those people, we wouldn't have gone.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a reflection of a school system that worked, and all the magical people and friends that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for him.
Right.
And it was a great day, Shout out for Colin Carson and Brett McGovern, who pushed him across the stage.
Oh, beautiful. Ashley, you've walked beside Jax through Orange, Lou Henry, Hoover, and West High. What did graduation mean to you?
Wow. Well, when I graduated with my master's, when he was in second grade, we had like a joint graduation party, because part of it was because I was graduating to teach visually impaired, and he was my muse, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I had him do it with me, because in the back of my mind I was always, I don't know if he's ever going to get a graduation. I don't know that he's ever going to be around to see his own graduation. So let him feel like a little bit of a graduation here with me. And so we got him a cap and a gown, and he was celebrated for that graduation then. So it was a kind of full circle moment to see him actually graduate, because man, he's had Batten disease, but he's also been dealt some other really hard cards that just haven't been fair
Right.
with his sepsis and things like that. And
course.
so just the fact that he was there is literally just, it was a sheer miracle. And he's always been a miracle, but it was a huge milestone. And he earned it. And I'm glad that he got to celebrate it. And I'm glad all his educational squad, all of his paras and his teachers and his friends and family were all there to cheer him on. And I think he could feel that. And I think it'll continue to have a ripple effect that he was able to get there.
Exactly. And Teri, as an educator, what does it mean to you to watch a student like Jax reach this moment?
Graduation is always a special time. I mean, for any graduate, right? It's a milestone. And for someone like Jax, like going back to what Tina said, it was almost symbolic of what can be done when it's not about the system, the black and white, the rules, but it's about this child. Like how do you make it meaningful for this child, and then in turn to see that meaning come back tenfold to all of those people. I mean, it was an entourage, and I thought, but everybody here has a vested stake in this. It felt like it wasn't just Jax's graduation.
Right.
It felt like it was a milestone for everybody on so many levels.
Right.
And it's a day, like everybody said, that we hoped we'd see, but quite honestly, maybe we didn't expect to see.
Yes.
So it was a miracle playing out, and it was just an honor to be a part of it. And I think everybody would say, this whole thing is a privilege. I mean, it's a gift, right? It was a gift, and so many ways it could have been a burden as we went, and it never was. I mean, a burden to bear or a blessing to unwrap.
Right.
It's like it just, everybody continued to look for the blessing side, which was great to see that culminate at graduation.
Exactly. And so why was the term legacy launch chosen for the upcoming event, July 18th?
Well, Jax is here with us, so it is his legacy. I want his legacy to go on forever.
Yes.
And he, I wanted him to be part of it, the Prairie one, he was there and he was part of it, but I would love for him to be part of those acts of Jax when they get started and it's kind of like, our shirts, this, if you can see our shirts, this is Jackson's silhouette, and he's got his hearts, and it's 3 hearts, but the Grinch's size is 3 sizes too small. And he's handing those hearts off to other people.
That's beautiful. I love that so much. So what are your hopes for Acts of Jax 5 years from now?
I hope that we have lots of stories.
Okay, back of the shirt. Back of the shirt. This is the hope 5 years from now. What is it?
Spread the light.
Feel the impact, and it has little Grinch hands in the back of the braille.
Okay, I think this is time to bring this in as
Okay.
well. If we're looking at merch.
Oh yeah, look, we got merch. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
This is like a timeline, right? This is my Jack's scrapbook, but in material form.
This
So
is a good one.
yes, right here. It says, "Have you been blessed? Don't be a Grinch. Pay it forward, right? Or sound for a cure." Here's this one, the keep calm, let your light shine.
Oh, I love it.
And here's a silhouette from an earlier day. I don't know if you can see that there.
Beautiful.
Right. But when I think of legacy, I mean, I hope that this is this quilt is for a twin bed. I want one for a king bed.
There you go.
So I'm working on it. But really, I mean, we lose people twice. I mean, the day we physically lose them, and the last day somebody says their name. And said, when part of my connection to this is to keep that light shining, right? To that impact that we felt, that there's no reason for that to go when we have to physically say goodbye to Jax. And I think of the one thing that he has given to me that I hope carries on, and that 5 years from now it's just multiplying, is that love multiplies when shared. But kindness is a privilege. again, if Jax could, he would.
Yes.
He can't, we can't.
Mhm.
So we should.
Right.
And we will. So
right.
I really, I mean, he's a no excuses kid. I mean, we have a mom who came in when you said about what do I remember as a kindergartner?
Yeah.
I remember a mom who was an advocate for her child who said, hey, I love him and I expect you to as well. And he's not maybe the same as everybody else, but it really helped me see that none of them were the same.
Yes.
And Tina may never remember saying this to me, but she said, you know, nothing's worse than the equal treatment of unequals. And at the time, she had another student living with her, a child that a lot of people would have said, hey, he's, you know, he belongs somewhere else. And Tina said, no, he deserves a chance too. And I thought, here is a mother with a child with a visual impairment. We didn't even know the Battens yet. And she has another little man living with her that most people didn't even want in their classroom. And I think, oh my gosh. And I'm like, you know what? So I have to tell you, this Acts of Jax and this legacy launch, I mean, when we ask people to partner with us, we're not just saying, oh, come to the event.
Yeah.
We're saying be a part of a movement.
Right.
That's going to transform hearts from the inside out, starting with yours.
Exactly.
That's what we're saying. So
exactly.
there you go.
Beautiful. So how will funds raised through the golf outing, for example, the Legacy launch July 18th, how will they support students and staff through the Waterloo Schools Foundation?
I've been talking a lot. So yeah, there you go.
So the funds will go towards being able to financially support Waterloo Schools staff and students in order to carry out acts of kindness. And those acts of kindness don't have to be towards another Waterloo School staff member or student. They can be to anyone, anywhere.
I love it.
So we are hopeful that we get to fund lots of acts of kindness and really see a ripple effect and change a lot of people's days. And that's for Waterloo, but it's beyond Waterloo, and it can, like I said, it can be for anyone, anywhere.
It's beautiful. How can someone support Acts of Jax without spending a penny?
By doing acts of kindness. Not all acts of kindness cost money. It could just be a compliment. It could be doing something nice for someone else. It doesn't have to be some elaborate, expensive act of kindness. And then also we have social media. We're on Facebook. And so just by going on the page and following it and sharing our story and Jax's story, just getting help get the word out. That's a big part of it, because if people don't know about it, then we are limited to what we can do. So right now we're just really focusing on getting the word out and getting our story out and getting Jax's legacy out there and launched.
Yes. So where can listeners and viewers learn more, donate, volunteer, or register for the July 18th event?
So we have our Facebook page, Acts of Jax. There's a lot of information on there. There's a link to the golf outing registration. We are actively looking for more golfers, golf teams, and sponsors. We're also looking for raffle items as well. We have a website, actsofjax.org, which takes you to a donation link. We're hopeful that we'll get a web page with more information up and running. After the golf outing, we can focus on that part a little bit more, and then reaching out to any of us, or, and a lot of people follow Jackson's Journeys Facebook page as well, and there's information there. But we're happy to answer any questions from anybody, or if anybody has anything to donate or offer, we will be happy to talk about it.
Yes. And when people hear the name Jackson Engstrom years from now, what do you hope they remember? Aww. Yeah, there you go. I love that.
Hearts, yes.
That's beautiful.
Right.
Any final thoughts?
I just, I think a lot of people, I'm hopeful that they'll hear Jax's story. A lot of people maybe hopped in, the last couple of years where he's been a lot more bedridden and not being able to communicate as well. But I think it's important to remember that before all that, Jax was, he was a walking, talking, happy little boy. And I think people, to remember that part of him as well, that he's in there and he is a beautiful person. And I think when people think of that and think of their children, and life sometimes isn't fair, and it can happen to anybody, and it just so happened that it happened to him. And that he smart, intelligent, funny little boy, and that's how I'll forever remember him. So don't always just look at him and think, oh, he's just maybe a shell of a person right now, but he's not. And he does have a legacy, and remembering who he was and his personality is important, and that's why we're here.
It's beautiful.
Somebody asked me at graduation, they said, did he even know you were there? And I said, I knew he was, and that's what mattered.
Yes.
So continuing to, again, spread the light, feel the impact. If you haven't had the opportunity to feel the impact, I invite you to partner with us to feel that. You won't be sorry.
You won't be sorry. Tina, I just want to say, I don't know how you do what you do. I have 5 children of my own, and to think of being in your spot, it's just so heart-wrenching. You are such an inspiration to everyone who knows you, sees you, and that will see this video today. Thank you for giving from your heart that is broken, and yet you give to others that they may feel joy. It's beautiful. Thank you. God bless you, sweetheart. God bless you. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll see you on July 18th. And where is the golf outing, friends?
Pheasant Ridge Golf Course, Cedar Falls.
Yes.
And a big thank you, big shout out to Pheasant Ridge. That is an in-kind donation. We give our time, treasure, and talents, and they're given trifecta. So
there you
thank
go.
you.
Beautiful. See you all there. Thank you.